Well, hello. We are now doing the webinar because when we were on Blog Talk Radio, Helene GALEK and LYNNIE Godfrey were cut off. Thank you very much. We were in the middle of an absolutely wonderful conversation. That's okay. We will post this on Facebook and everyone will be able to see this. Now, why am I frozen? I can see me. Do you see?
I was unfroze.
Now I'm unfrozen. I don't know. Tonight is what did you say? Something is in retrograde.
Something's in retrograde. If it's Mercury or Jupiter, there's something in the planets.
But I'm not to be stopped. I'm relentless.
Right. That's right. We keep going on.
So now we were really talking. We got you to New York City. We got you now beginning to work as a professional performer and doing the kinds of roles that you really wanted to do. Okay. I want to also, hopefully people will go to my Facebook page and click on and come in, because then they can listen while we're talking and ask you questions.
Oh, I hope so. That'd be great.
Oh yeah, I hope they do this. Okay. So so now you there are certain roles that you want to do.
Right.
Are you getting these roles? Are you doing the roles that you
now? I am. Like, I had to wait. I had the unusual problem, quote unquote, of looking way younger than my years. And I know most actors would go, oh, you're so lucky, all this stuff, but I was a character actor. Yes. And at that time, there was no TV in New York. There was no real character actors in plays. That's why even, I wasn't planning on going to do musicals, but because I could sing and dance, and as I said, I wanted to play these hard-boiled roles, but I had this.
Yes,
so yes. I said, okay, if this is the path that's beckoning me. And the funny thing is, it's like anything else. It's like when you have Shakespeare on your resume, or even when soaps were big, if you had acted in soaps, they were looking for that experience. I did period musicals because I could also tap.
Yes.
And I would be believable. I could be the sexy chorus girl, but I could also double as a funny old woman in the next act because my acting. So but so I followed the path that sometimes, and this, we talk about this nowadays about branding and your essence and your type and your archetype. And sometimes, it's like saying, yeah, I could play a good bitch in an acting class, but that's not the thing. That's not what they're going to hire me for.
I think, and that's the message that I'm hoping that, that young people, that experienced people understand that you can study. I've been told, I was doing my grandmother when I was 19, 20 years old, and these older women would say, now that's very nice, but you will have time to be old. Don't even think about that. You are going to be cast for the role that is appropriate for you, what you look like, what is closest to you.
Exactly.
And that advice came from such wonderful ladies all the way through, just coming out. So this is what I want to pass on to also the younger people who are listening. And so to some of the older people who, more mature people who have been in the business, and to saying, well, when am I going to do it? I have very talented actors that I work with, and some of them were years without work because they had to age into it.
And it has to do with what's going on with society.
Exactly.
Because there was a time when I was considered purely character. Then now my look is almost more mainstream. So in a funny way, I make a joke. I had to learn how to act straight. Like it's very easy for me to do bells and whistles and go off the wall. But that's not how I was being seen.
Yes.
I was being seen because somebody mainstream could look like me now.
Yes.
So a lot of times what's going on with society, especially now we're really conscious about being, diverse. And if you're going to have a role that's where somebody is in a wheelchair or is blind, I know as an actor who's not in a wheelchair or not blind, it's a great acting experience, but there's so many talented actors who have that you know, are in a wheelchair or are blind or
have that disability,
anything else.
yes, yes,
and you know, and they're being cast now. And you know, whether it's racial, whether it's ethnic, whether it's anything, we're hopefully slow, but hopefully getting more aware
of all of the, you know, I mean, one of the I think the things that that everyone had such faith for was the non-traditional casting meant that you could do anything. Right. But then when we got into this, where we got specific, where, you know, you wanted to be able to hire the person if you were looking for a person who had a certain disability and you had a talented actor who had that disability. Correct. Here's the conflict. Do you hire the actor who has studied so much and gotten it down so you can't tell in real life whether they have it, or do you hire that person who is very talented, who has that and comes with that, and then has a whole nother a lot of other investments? It's the investment in the characterizations that I think that we're trying to figure out now.
Well, you know what it is? Hopefully they'll come to a time where the person, let's say, who's in the wheelchair is getting cast in a role where there is no mention of the wheelchair.
Exactly. Like, they just happen to be there.
Right. Like, I remember the time when they were starting to put in African Americans and Asians in roles, and I said, it's not going to really be inclusive or mainstream if you're not talking about it. Like, you know, yes, the best friend happens to be African American, but we're not talking about race or even pregnancy. I remember seeing a Shakespearean play in the public theater, and I don't know if it was Troilus and Cressida, it was one of those, and the actress was 7 months pregnant, and they sort of, you know, dressed her accordingly. And there was an interview with the director, and he'd said she was the best actress for the role, and he made sure she felt safe, you know, when she fall or move or something.
Yes.
It's just not enough. See, I think that's what it is. You know, it's if we start casting people, making this character blind without being in the play, in the text, if they get those roles, then you can mix it up, you know, then you don't necessarily.
So we still have some steps to go.
Yes, we do. We
still have some steps to go. I mean, you know, there are of course cultures that people are doing. There are a lot of people who are a different culture who are playing different cultures, you know. The people who are the different kinds of Hispanic people who play different kinds of Hispanic people, different kinds of Black people who play different kinds of Black people, Caribbean people, Brits and and Black Americans. So, you know, we're still working that out so that we bring to it who we are without it being mentioned intentionally in the script, so that we're the best choice for it.
Exactly. So that's, I think, the next level. But, you know, I know, because you mentioned I do casting, and even when I was doing a reading, one of the characters was a trans woman, and I really wanted to cast, because I know there's actors out there, but it was young. I know a lot of older ones. So what I did was I went on Facebook and I said, there's got to be a group somewhere. So there was, and I contacted the woman, and I couldn't join the group because I'm not one, but she gave me some names, and I cast somebody, and actually I cast him quite a bit, and then he moved to Florida, or she moved to Florida. But it, you know, but I was just happy that I could really find someone that fit the description.
Yeah. I mean, some of it is it's also now we've gotten to the casting part of your career. I'm going to go back to the acting part.
Right. Sure. Yes. Absolutely.
But some of it is also, it's how the character is written and how significant it is that that particular person is who they are. You know, I mean, if it's not significant that the person has a situation in a certain kind of community, then anybody can play that character,
right?
You know, but if the character has an identity that's in a certain community, then you want that to be as authentic as you possibly can make it. So that's one of the things that, you know, we're working through it. But I want to go back.
Okay. We can go back, we can go forward, we can go up, we can go down.
But I mean, because, you know, your acting career you've got all of these things working at the same time. You got the acting, you got the casting, you got the writing, you know, I mean, you know, the acting career, has casting done some definitive thinking, made you do for definitive thinking when you are as an actor, when you're going up for something? Casting, being on that side of the table for one job, being on the other side for another. What has casting done for you as an actor?
It's made me, I mean, I always thought I was professional, but it's even made me more sensitive to the casting director's needs. You know, responding right away, having the material, presenting, sending it in, doing the audition exactly the way they asked, really listening to them. Like I remember in the beginning, you know, when you're given an adjustment, I would be like, in my head, my insecure head was like, oh no, I screwed it up and blah, blah, blah. And that wasn't about that.
It's not,
no, it isn't. It took me a while, but I could see that, because then I would get like, you know, they call it the pin or short list in film and TV. And I could see they wanted, finally it hit my head inside. I got that they want me to get the best job so they can submit that to the directors and producers, because so that's when I got more, I go, oh, because that's what I was doing as an actress. Like, I like your work, but can we see this? And so, yeah, I quickly shifted.
You know, I think what I say to actors a lot is that I'm frozen, but I'm still talking.
That's okay. I hear you.
Is that an adjustment doesn't say that you have done something wrong. It gives an alternate interpretation.
Yes.
It allows the director, it allows the people, you know, who are behind the desk to see the versatility that you have.
Yes, and if you can take direction.
Yes, you know, that you can take direction, that if you get in the middle of rehearsal and something's not working, but, you know, and you think it's working so well, but it's really not working. And then they say, listen, can we try so and so and so? That the resistance is not there for it, that you are able to make that adjustment, work on it, think about it, you know, cerebrally, really attack it, and then go, yeah, okay. I thought I thought that's what you wanted, but if it's not what you want, tell me what you want. You know, tell me what it is that you're thinking about, and let me just process that, because it is that in that time, that is when we as actors become the tool.
And also it's coming of service, like I'm here of service to you. And that's what also shifted for me, that realizing as a casting person, and I don't have that many people on top of me, because if I work in the indie world, I'll have the producer who's usually the writer, or sometimes the director. There might be an artistic director, but it's not like TV and film who have, you know, the executive producers and the stockholders. I mean, they have like a zillion layers. And I've tried to tell actors too, when they go, oh, could you cast me? And I go, well, wait, I will bring you in. My job is to give the director as many choices as possible. And sometimes I'm asked my opinion. Sometimes if I know somebody well, I'll give them a little push. But I said, ultimately, I don't make the final decision.
And I think that's something that people should understand, not only in your position, but when you are a principal in a production. And people think that, you know, you've hired, you're the lead or you're second lead, and then they go, well, you know, can you get me in? Can you, you know, all you can do is recommend them, and you hope that they will present their best, you know, foot forward, that their best face will come there. You don't have, you know, you can say, yeah, my experience with them has been really a great experience, and you know, they really work well in an environment like that. But you have to get yourself the job. Nobody can get you a job. And I think that that's a misinterpretation. There's so many people, when you have a job and they think that you can get them a job because you're the lead in something. No, you're trying to keep your job. You know? You know, because you're still working for someone. Even if you're an executive producer on it, you got a couple of jobs you got to keep.
Yeah.
You know?
And you have people on top of you. And then also too, you tell the actor, and it's hard because I'm back acting, and now with self-tapes, there's more competition,
Sure.
even though there's more shows. And
Yeah.
I haven't booked anything yet. I book a lot. I see one thing I do, and this is, I always tell actors this. It was an instinct of mine years ago. I stay in touch with directors and writers because they're sometimes the one that gets you the job. The casting person's sort of in the middle. And every project I've worked on, a director, it never fails. They'll hand me a list and they go, call these people in and schedule.
That's their preferences. That's that's a choice. Yes. Yeah.
So I know that. So I know it's not all about me. I mean, a lot of times I check, I'll go on IMDb and go, okay, who got cast? And most of the time, it's funny. I'm still young, even at this age. I lose out to somebody older. Sometimes it's a different ethnic group. One time it was a really big, juicy part. I didn't see the part listed. And I go, that makes sense. I do a lot. I'm the comic relief. I do a lot of the supporting work. But in a film, even though funny scenes, and I learned this like years ago, was very disappointed when something got chopped up, because I'm just the funny thing. I'm not detrimental to the plot. It's just funny, and they'll cut that. And so, and then also too, I tell people it's a puzzle piece. Sometimes the best actor or the best audition doesn't get cast. It's who fits in with who. And I'll tell you, I've been on productions where I thought my choices of the actors that I brought in were better than the ones, but I'm not the
ultimately,
and sometimes they play it safe. They'd rather hire someone they've worked with before.
Yeah, that's a very important thing, because I've learned that when people don't know you and they don't know when in 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, when things are not going well, are you going to be a crazy person? Or are you going to go, oh, can somebody just get me a pickle so I can just eat a pickle now, and I'll, yeah, I'm fine. Just let me know when you need me.
Right.
Those things are very important. They're very, very important. And when people don't know you, and you come in and you're reserved, they think, oh, I don't know. I don't think they're going to be a lot of fun,
Well, because because like, again, it's perception. They have the old cliche, if you look like somebody's, ex-wife or ex-husband.
Yes.
So the whole thing is like, what is in your control? So your control is, to get your materials, your headshot, your reels, your resume, the clothing, you work on your script, you do the script analysis, you come in and you do it, and that is all
you got. That's it.
And or you write a note and you can thank them. You keep up the professionalism, return emails and phone calls like immediately. But other than that, and I know, and and I feel for actors, and I tell them. In fact, I've actually had auditions, and as I said, I don't do this at every audition because even I have to feel the space. But I was casting for the 92nd Street Y, their children's theater.
I love
they're all young. They're great. So they're all young singer dancers. So before I took the one group into the other room, because we had a waiting room, I just said, hey, everybody, before you go in, I just want to tell you, you are all talented. You wouldn't be at this callback if you weren't. But now it's going to be a puzzle. It's going to be a mix and match. And so just know that. Just know you're good.
Because there's so many factors that have nothing to do with you personally.
Yes. And it doesn't make you feel better, but
no, it doesn't. But in your head, well, they're not saying that I'm terrible. And and that's you still always grade yourself. As as that. And I always try to tell the actors, no, it's not about you. And also there are a lot of situations where it has nothing to do with you. Somebody promised a role to somebody, at a dinner party, and that's it. They said, and so you service as far as you can go, and they go, now I love you, but I promised it to them. So I got it.
Or there's too many redheads. And this happened once at a show, because my friend recommended me. That's when I was still doing musicals, because I had done Pippin a couple times. He said, only they liked you, but it's between you and a blonde. They already have a redhead. So
there you go.
And we danced equally. It's like when you're equal.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's got to be something that you know.
Like,
So now that is the casting, that is the acting. Tell me about the writing now.
So the writing, well, I've always written since I was younger. I always wrote stories and poems. I always loved words. And I'm an only child. So even though, as I said, sometimes our parents had to go outside and play. Once I was outside playing, yes, I was very social, I was very athletic and all that, but I loved my time in my room. Because I tell you, when the pandemic started, I had a couple of friends who look at my Facebook posts, because I was going out a lot. They go, "Are you okay?" Like, they really worried that I have to stay inside my room, and I go, "Are you kidding?" This has happened to me.
When you're I understood. I was the youngest. Well, I was the only child for a very, very long time, and then my wonderful cousin, who I was raised as a sister, came to live. But when you have that, and as a child, and you're by yourself, you know how to entertain yourself. You don't worry about nothing. You know, I was like, oh, but the pandemic didn't bother me. I hate to say it to a lot of people. I was like, no, I mean, no. I recently realized that I hadn't seen a very, very good friend of mine for 2.5 years, because I would Zoom and we would talk on the phone. And, you know, I mean, and that's what we would do anyway.
We're all doing, and so anyway, I was in I've been in a couple writing groups even now as an actor. But one of them branched off and said, let's do a writing workshop. And we had an assignment. She gave us a theme. We didn't have to follow it, but I think that's what I needed, knowing I had to write something in a week. So yeah, because I like to write poetry. And what was also happening in the pandemic, and I have to say, again, being grateful, I'm an artist. Everybody in the business reached out, were offering either free or very low cost classes. A lot of the casting people, I'm on Instagram, were doing these contests, you know, and I didn't really care if I won or not, but it was fun, like make up your own commercial of a fake product.
Oh, okay.
Or write a 1-minute monologue. And this is a casting director that I'm in touch with on Instagram. And she's great because she's always giving advice to actors. She just said, okay, this is the beginning sentence, write like a 1-minute monologue. And that monologue not only I also did it as a short story for one presentation, but I got chosen to be at the Nuyorican, their fundraiser, and I was a writer. I'm like, oh my god, like Neil LaBute was Cheryl Hodges. I'm like, and I got a stipend, and I'm like, I got paid as a writer because my friends, saw it. And they said, no, this is great, and then I wrote idiosyncrasies of the pandemic. We were talking, somebody asked me if I was like dating, and I'm like, dating? Well, I don't even want to you were 6 feet apart. How are you going to date? So that put an idea in my head, and I wrote a 10-minute comedy about two people who it looks like they're dating. They're having a dinner date, and it turns out they're actually on Zoom. And again, the Nuyorican accepted it in their play festival, and I got paid, and I got honorable mention. I was supposed to have gotten a live performance, but by the time we went back to the theater, they changed their format. So I'm just submitting it now. And what I was proud about was I find there's not enough stories. It's not the actor, it's of the age, it's the stories. And I'm a baby boomer, and I feel we're not represented enough. So my only stipulation is the two actors can be 2 women, 2 men, non-binary. It doesn't matter. They can be trans, they can be in a wheelchair, they can be disabled, whatever. They have to be over 50. They can be different races.
Yes.
Because it's all about a relationship.
The representation of that group. And that's a concern that I have too. I mean, when we were younger, everything focused on youth, and I didn't think about it because I was young. So it was about me. But as we get older, I think that everybody has their time, but we who have been here are still very vital and have great stories.
Yes.
And great.
We don't have enough.
No, we don't. And I think that's really wonderful that you even think that way. I hope more people think that way. I think it's really wonderful. There are performers that I grew up watching that are maybe a little bit more mature than I am now, who I miss because there's not anything for them to do right now.
Yeah.
And what I could learn from them, just looking at them do a song, it would be incredible.
Well, it's amazing when you see somebody who's been in the business for years. Well, I'm going to pick Andre DeShields because I just saw him twice this year, and I saw him in the original Wiz. Yeah. But even I remember before, when he was alive, seeing somebody like Eli Wallach or Jessica Tandy, you know, Hume Cronum. And there's even I saw this comedy with Nanette Fabre, and it's like you're watching somebody who's done this for decades.
Oh yeah. It's second nature for them now. It's second nature.
It's great. Yeah. So I'm from the mindset that, okay, I can start up bitching and complaining. I'm not represented. I'm not this. I'm not, or I go, that's a good stepping stone, but I want to do something about it.
Yes.
So I actually wrote an essay that got published about stopping the self-shaming and aging. Wonderful. And I wanted to parlay that into a talk, and I started taking some classes about being a public speaker, but it was so involved I had to put it away for now because I've got all this. But it's so funny, I met this actress I've called back a couple times in some random grab and go in Midtown a few weeks ago, and it wasn't any accident because she's getting fed up and she wants to do something, and next week we're all going to one of the girls' houses and we're going to come up with something. That's
fabulous. Because but that's how it does go. That's how it
does go.
Yeah. I mean, you know, you do have to do it. That's what Lloyd used to say to me all the time. If you do not see it, create it.
Yes. And now it's easy. Well, not easy meaning,
but there are a lot of options. There are a lot more, you know, I mean, like we said before, there are a lot more ways for you to do do now. Yeah. You know, I mean, who knew 20 years ago, this would not be something that we would be doing. You know, I mean, and I have, you know, I was talking to a couple of people who did the first year. I've been doing in March. It will be 2 years that I've been doing this. I almost have 100 episodes.
That is great.
Thank you. Who knew? I mean, I just thought, well, let me do something. You know, I mean, I'm gonna. I was doing the Zoom with the actors. Yeah, and that was really great. Then I did someone interviewed me, and they said, "Would you want to?" You talk really well. Do you want to have your own show? And I went, what? What do you mean? First of all, what do you mean I talk really well? Secondly, how do you have your own show? Oh, it's just easy, you know, they have it all set up for you. All you do is just go there and set up your own system that you want, what you want to talk about. That didn't exist 5 years ago, 7 years ago.
It's amazing what has even come up. One of my friends, she's also very, very talented, multi-talented. She was writing this funny YouTube series about this nutty piano teacher. And she said, and we've played, it's so funny, we're good friends, but we're really good playing nemesis with each other. Yes. And she wrote me in on one episode. I was her nemesis and I dressed alike, and we had these weird German accents, and I accused her of stealing my boyfriend. And it was just like being silly, but it was just, but a lot of people liked it. And this way you have, you know, content of yourself. And,
exactly. You got real stuff. Yeah. You've got stuff to put on the reel. Yeah. There are advantages, there are differences where we are now. And when I began, I mean, I was, you know, the live auditions were what we did, and it was magnificent. I mean, I am a lover of auditions. You know, I mean, I think that people should enjoy them. It's an audience that it's a captivated audience. They can't go anywhere.
No, it's tricky. You know what? I thought of this years ago when I was going out, and I realized what was getting in the way is thinking about it as an audition. So if I was a little nervous, I thought I used it like I already have the role. Or no, either I have the role and I'm performing it in front of an audience, I'm performing, or when I remember when I first started going out for TV and film, and that was new to me, I pretended I already have a TV series. It is it's The Break, you know, we're on hiatus. And the director said, could you do me a favor and come in and read for the role? So I would like do this whole scenario to take
and it takes the edge off, and you go in. I find, I mean, I'm always they'll say, well, Lenny, they want you to come and read for this, and I go, that? No, I don't want to read that. I'm better for this over there. So I go in not caring about getting what they want. I get hired for the role, but I'm like, really? I did. But I psych my own. You can psych your own self out. I mean, it's wonderful when people call you up, and I've been very, very blessed. And most of my stuff comes on the phone. They go, Lenny, can you, but the wonderful part of doing things for people that you don't know, and this is what I want to tell actors, is that it's an opportunity to introduce yourself to other people.
Yes.
And to get that, whether you get it or not, it's so great to see other people in the business. It's like, I've heard about your work. It's so great to meet you. Thank you so much. And I look forward to seeing your work again, whether you get hired or not, because it's a small community. It's changing, it's changing the attitude when you walk in the room.
Oh, the minute you walk in, yes.
I mean, it's just having a great time. I think people should have a great time. Just have a great time.
It should be fun. My acting teacher one of my acting teachers used to say that we're struggling, and she was, I want to stop the scene. She goes, are you having fun? The other actor went, what? She goes,
exactly.
Having fun, because why are you doing this?
Goodness. Wow.
And that's one thing as a casting person, and I have a few that I've been their reader, and I see the way they are too. Because I know what it's like as an actor, I, not go out of my way, but I make sure that I am embracing them, so that even when I've given them all the scheduled times, I might do one email to everybody. Okay, everybody, you got your times. Everybody have their sides. We're meeting there. Do blah, 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 blah. If you're running late, here's my number, and greeting them. And I want to make them feel good, because it isn't brain surgery. It should
not brain surgery. It's important to you, but it needs to be, you need to place it where it really needs to be placed, And I know when I was out in LA, and you have a series of auditions, one after another and everything, I would make sure I had something to do after the audition.
They used to tell, way back in the old days, they said, put something fun in your schedule.
I mean, I'd say, when I finish, I got to put this, I got to go shopping for the food. I got to go to the cleaners. I got to go pick up something. So that your day isn't just that, and that you have invested your whole life into that. Yes. And then when it's finished, whether you were brilliant or not, you're going to come down. So you're so busy going to the next thing, you're not coming down anymore. You got to focus on what's going next.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Now, we're of course, we're past the hour that we would have been on the audio.
Right.
All right. So I'm going to hold you just a few minutes more, because I'm just loving
this. No, I mean, I'm home, so it's not like that was the one thing when people go, no, I'm home for the evening, and it's great. One
of the things that I find is someone like you who does all these things. Do you ever think about holding like a seminar, like something for people to come to listen, because you have a grasp on how the working actor should behave, and how that, those things, just giving them a leg up, whether it's a student that's coming out of school, whether it's a mature actor who's coming back into the business. Have you ever thought about doing anything?
I've actually done them. I have been hired on panels, and I do a favor for some friends. I have some friends who want to go back to the business. So I just said, just take me out to eat. I'm going to make an outline, and I said, don't freak out. Because right now I am in the midst of doing something we all have to do. I'm updating all my materials, and I'm not driving myself crazy, because you not only have to spread it out time-wise, but money-wise.
Yeah.
You're always going to have to be doing that. But no, thank you for saying that. But I have actually been on panels at several places, and have spoken to actors, and actually have watched scenes, and have been able now to give them feedback and adjustments. Because the first time I was asked to do that, I panicked inside, going, I've never directed. I sometimes can tell when a scene doesn't work, but I don't know if I can say the right things. And then I started thinking back of when I was an actor, when I take seminars, what the casting people say, like sometimes they love the scene, but then they go, oh, well, we have time, let's do it again, and I'm going to just throw something funny out. But the more I did it, I'm like, I really became very confident, and I can give the adjustments because of listening and everything. So yeah, and if you ever want to do something together, to put something together,
oh, that would be fabulous. That would be wonderful. But I heard you say earlier, talking about directing. What do you think directing is? Because what you're talking about is a level of directing. It is getting from the actor the best that they can get without them really knowing that you're getting it from them.
I know. Well, I think, but I guess when you're directing, whether it's a film or a movie, you have to know or really be aware of the other things, the lighting, the props.
Oh, yes. I mean, all of that comes with it. But you also have, and this is what I'm saying, because I'm hearing, I love it when to encourage people to direct, because it's so wonderful when you know so many things about the business. You also hire those competent people who do the lighting for you, who say to them, now, I want this lit like so-and-so. So you have to have the vision, but they have the execution.
Yes.
So, you have to know what you want it to look like, but you don't have to know how to do it. That's that.
I know. I guess I feel like it seems fun, but it's funny. One thing about getting older is I'm saying no less and less. In fact, this last seminar I sat in, I was giving the notes, and two of them, we were on Zoom, and two of them went on private message going, do you coach? Or they asked, I said, no, that's not something I do, but just for the classes. And it was in the evening. And there's something about evening where you're vulnerable.
Yes.
Which is why they put infomercials on at 4 a.m. I must buy this beauty product. So I woke up the next morning and I went, you know what I just did? The flight or fight, I flew. Yeah. And I got scared and went, oh no, I'm not good enough. So I contacted the 3 actors that asked me, and I went, what I thought about it. If you ever need coaching, I'll give you a very, very, good price. Call me. I would love to work, because I do that even when sometimes I'm a reader for somebody's tape, because I'm the third eye.
Yes, it is. It is about that. That is where you are. I mean, if you, as Lloyd would say, if you hire the good actor, and, that's that quote, the good actor. And by that he means the professional, the one who comes in prepared, who has done the work, who has done all the background, who could tell you everything that you want to hear about their character, because they've thought about it. When you've had that person there, and they need just another point of view as if they're going in the right way, that's the job. That's the job that if you hire the good actor, you don't work really hard as a director. 90% of it is casting. It really is casting. I guess we should do something.
We should do something. LYNNIE, I know we have to go, but can I mention how we know each other? Because that's a good story.
Yes.
Because networking and keeping in touch is huge. I beg actors. I just want to say one thing, because this is important. I actually go see shows when I can. And I've been seeing a lot, because I know it helps me, because I do non-union, union, I do musicals, films, live shows. I did a drag show. So I will have my card, or I'll meet the actors, and I'll say, please email me your materials for my files. Yes, it might be a year, but I'm going to need you. Do you know, sometimes out of a cast of 15, I'll hear from 3. Somebody waited on me once, and I asked her if she sang, and we were talking. I asked her, she wasn't interfering in my dinner. I said, here's my card, please send me your stuff. And she never did. So the reason I'm mentioning this, so let's go back a few decades. Doodly-doo, doodly-doodly-doo.
Okay.
One of my housemates, I met her name was Sheila. We had done Maya Angelou's show, And Still I Rise.
Yes.
And that was
amazing.
Yes. And that was amazing, because I'd read the book in high school, and all of a sudden with the person. It was amazing.
Yes.
So Sheila became one of my, I lived in like a brownstone. She became one of my housemates. And she did, she was one of the original urchins in the original Little Shop of Horror music.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
And she said, Helene, I want to refer you. My friend LYNNIE is directing To Be Young, Gifted, and Black. And I said, sure. So I went and auditioned, and I was called back, and I was called back, and I think I had a third call back. And I think there was a couple, maybe not all of us, there was a couple, and you said, you know, I'll make our decision, but you're down to the end. So Sheila came back a few days later because I could see I didn't get it. And she said, well, LYNNIE wanted me to tell you that you were one of the 3 that she had, but she gave it to somebody else. And that somebody else was Elizabeth McGovern.
Yes.
And I went, if I'm in her crowd, that, I mean, she had just done Ordinary People.
Yes,
and I'm like,
yes,
oh,
yes.
I mean, that was like exciting.
Yes,
like,
yes,
oh my
Ragtime
God.
hadn't come out yet. Yes.
So then my friend Valerie is telling me about this play and Franz, about the Tulsa lynchings, which I actually had heard about years ago because one of my best friends is from Tulsa. And she told me about it. So I went and then I introduced myself to LYNNIE, and this is decades later. And I reached out to her because now you have emails, and we stayed in touch. And so I wanted to tell this story because it is so important. There are so many people sometimes I haven't seen in decades and I'm working with now again, or they come back in your life. And don't lose touch with people.
Yeah, it's very important. You know, now that you say all of this, I remember those auditions very, very well. I remember Helene. I was very tossed and turned about that. I will have to tell you now. Oh, and Elizabeth was she's
she's amazing. I mean, as I said, when I heard that, I knew she was, the first time I saw her was, as I said, Ordinary People. And that's a no-brainer.
But no, not necessarily a no-brainer. I mean, you know, I mean, it wasn't so much. It's not for me. I have to say, it's not the credits. That's why it was so hard. It's very.
It's the essence, because we are different, and I don't know. Who
it was what I was looking for. What was I looking for at that point in time?
Yeah,
and I had to make a decision about where I was going with it.
Right. Yes. No, it's great. But look, and I was so excited. And I met Franz at a party and I called him back for a musical. And and we're all connected. And yes, so for anybody younger, it's a small world. I always say New York City is not really a big city. It's 30 blocks long. And everybody kind of knows everybody. And it's like this web, and be nice to everybody, be kind.
Be kind. And, I say that to my husband all the time when he goes out the door. I go, be nice, Carl. Be nice. Be nice.
Don't fill out all your opinions on social media.
No.
People are forgetting that when we used to get together and watch, let's say, the Oscars in someone's living room, that may be the place to go, oh my God, I can't believe she's wearing this, or that's a stupid speech. But don't put it on social media. I mean, first of all, think how you would feel if somebody put you down, but you may be working with them, and that doesn't go away once it's out there.
It doesn't. I think people have to realize it is a very small business. It's a very small business, and there are people. I mean, I'll say this: I have worked with the devil and survived over these.
I love that. I love that. Yes.
And you do know that sometimes it's not on you. Sometimes it's some baggage that people bring.
Yes.
So you have to try to come there as even tempered as you possibly can, and not to be walked over by anyone. That I'm not asking for it. I'm not asking people to do that, but know that there's going to be some difficulties maybe sometimes, and work through it. Go to the proper channels, do what you have to do. I have wonderful memories of people working with them that I would work with them in 10 seconds.
Sure.
I mean, it's a lifetime of memories.
And it's a trust, because I have my short list also.
Yes.
Well, the last thing I just did just fairly recently, a singer. No, he's a singer, but he's a lyricist, book writer,
Mhm.
composer.
Mhm.
He's doing a play about with women over 50.
Oh.
So I didn't even have to put a notice on. So right now he's just doing readings to hear it. There's no promise of parts,
Right.
but he's so nice. And I love the fact that he made them feel good. They all came to me. They said, Helene, thank you. We just had a good time, because we all want to work on new material.
Sure.
That's another thing, that if someone asks you to do a reading, if it's in the apartment, it's a workout.
It's the muscles. You get a chance. It's like a work. It's for the muscles. It's for the muscles. It's so, I mean, I can't say, I carefully say a lot of things on air because I don't want it to be misinterpreted,
Right.
But I cannot tell you how much I love new projects. That the resume has some selected projects that other people have done, but for me, the creation of characters, of making that from the very beginning, your name, how many times I've gotten I go to the script and originally created by, and whether you follow it all the way through or not, sometimes by the time it gets through, you're in another project, so they can't, you can't make that happen. But the making it yours.
Yeah.
I suggest that it's a wonderful feeling. Oh no, there are roles that I still want to do.
Oh,
that other people have done. Yeah.
I've got a zillion of them, but most of my career has actually been on creating new roles.
Yeah.
I don't have, I only have like a few, like from summer stock that, when I was younger, I did the musicals, but most of the things I've done. And as I said, the majority of my work is people that have hired me again, or friends. We're friends, but they also will hire me knowing I'm right for the part.
And also knowing how you work.
Yes.
They know how you work. I had one director said to me, he said, you work like a soldier in boot camp. You just, I mean, you are just relentless with it. I feel an obligation to get it right for those people who have faith in my talent.
I feel that. Yep. I do that too. Like,
I feel
even when I audition, like, I hope I gave a great audition just to save face for the friend.
I mean, the person who, to say, thank you for thinking, thank you for, I mean, I don't do the auditions as often as I used to, but, and some of it is because the repeat business that I get keeps me busy. So if an offer comes, I can't do it because I'm working, but some of it is that, they're not, as we talked earlier, they're not the roles that you want, that are there, that you want to invest in. But when that moment comes, when it's the marriage of the actor and the role, whoa, I mean, it's magic. Well, that's what theater is. It's magic.
Yes, exactly. And
magic. I mean, you have, you sing, you dance, you act, you write, you cast, you have all these hyphenated things. You have such a wonderful career in front of you. I wish you the absolute best.
Well, thank you. Same here. And I can't think of the actress's name, but the 88-year-old who was in Black Panther. I see her.
Oh,
the older woman, and I'm like, okay, if I've got to wait that long and be up for an Oscar in a big hit movie, okay, I'm still here. That's
I mean, it's just one of those things. Everybody has their time.
Yes.
And a lot of people think, well, how do you feel? You work with this one and they're doing this now. I think it's absolutely fabulous because we've walked, all of us have worked all these years. I remember Ruth Brown when she won Tony.
I saw her.
Yes. And she said, it took me 30 years to walk up those 4 steps.
Yeah.
And
then, LYNNIE, that you did Broadway early on. And sometimes, and I've done this too, I thought, oh, I'm with Maya Angelou and we're going to have all these stars come in. And then when it doesn't happen afterwards, and you're like, oh, I have to go back again. And
well, what happens is, having experienced all the wonderful moments that I experienced in you, there was no follow-up. And that's one of the things also that we have to deal with. I mean, there were wonderful follow-ups in regional theater. I did regional theater all over the country, and I did roles that Black women were not doing. But Then when it came to come to New York, those roles weren't offered to me because they weren't at that point in time seeing that imagery in the role. So, which resulted in my going to LA and doing television and film for 10
But
years.
but like you said, you followed your path.
Yeah.
And
you know, and everybody does have to follow.
Yeah,
their
I did
path.
sketch comedy and interactive theater. There were certain years when I couldn't play the teenager anymore, which I was kind of happy about, but then I couldn't get into the next decade.
Yes.
And so the fact that, and sometimes they go, only we don't know what to do with you, because
Yes.
I could go this way or that way.
Oh,
So
please. Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
that's when a good friend of mine said, study improv and do sketch comedy. And this way I could play all my little roles. And so I was in a group, we got paid, we went to the little clubs. I did interactive theater, you know, where it's, you're talking to the audience. Some of it's dinner theater, some of it's the murder mysteries. You know, you're playing a character, there's a script, but you can go off the script and deal with the people. And,
you can interact. Yes. Yes.
Oh my God. Can I tell you how much fun that was?
Well, not only is that the spontaneity of your thoughts, what it strengthens you. It's the muscles that happen when you do improv like that. When you do those sketch things, it makes you think. You're not stuck in one thing. So this is the way that this is supposed to be, and it can only be like that. Instantaneously, when somebody says achoo, you go, what? Did you sneeze? Okay, all right, wait, all right, God bless you now. Come on, and boom, right back to where you got to go. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's that spontaneity. It's also just, it's just having fun.
It is. Yeah. It's good. It's
you know, we come to toward the end of this, but saying that you know, it's decades of having fun, doing hard work, you know, and being rewarded with people thinking that you have worth. And that's what I try to do. Franz is my associate director, and when we have auditions, he has his head down like this, because he says you just take too much time with the actors. You always, I said, but I just want them to know how happy I am that they've come, how wonderful it is that they've prepared all that they've prepared for me, giving them another choice, or you know, the alternate choice of doing something else. And I'd like to, because there's some actors come in, I go, I know I only have 3 minutes. I said, no, you have more than 3 minutes. How's your day? How did you get here? Exactly. You know, and they go, oh, you talking to me? I go, yeah. How did you get here? How did that happen? Did you find the place all right? Was everything fine? And Franz is like this. Ugh. She goes, we're going to be behind schedule, because, you know, I mean, it's scheduled. The actors are scheduled.
Well, sometimes I have done that with certain directors too. I'm like, we're about 20 minutes behind.
I know. And I know I do it from the very beginning, and
but in a nice way. No, we're all like that, but then we have to, but like on Zoom one time, it was really funny. One director gave like big pieces for actors. I was private messaging, like, you've got to cut them off. I have 20 people
coming. Yes, you do. You know, and you want, you know, the thing, I'm knocking on all kinds of woods. I've never had the experience where anybody cut me off to do anything. You know, I tried to also manage my time well, because I go, okay, I'm going to sing this, and then if you want to have something else, that's fine. And then, but they'd all say, well, what else you got? I said, okay. After the third song, I go, look, this is not the LYNNIE Godfrey entertainment album here. Okay, what is it? Are you going to hire me for this? Am I going to charge you for that? I mean, we have a good time.
That's funny, but it's
great. But you know, I do want the actors not to feel that they only have this much time, and in that much time, because with that comes anxiety, and I'm not seeing you at your best. You know, because that's not the way I'm going to rehearse you. I'm going to let you sit there, and I'm going to sit there and wait. When you're ready, do it when you're ready. You know, it's you know, I go back to when the classes with Lloyd is, I didn't even know I was studying. That's how those classes were. I didn't even know we were studying. Yeah, we were just doing things, and then all of a sudden I realized, oh my God, I'm studying. I know what to do when I go someplace now. I've learned
the difference. And I'll be, you know, it's funny, as I said, I'm working through my materials, but it's almost a year. I haven't really been in an acting class, so I'll be looking at that this winter too, because I'll take like here and there. There's a couple of teachers, but to get into one again, because you always have to keep those muscles going.
Absolutely. If you know, I mean, well, the discipline of having, as I say to actors, always have something ready. You know, you can work on it. You can film yourself and watch yourself. We can do all these things. You can go to a class. You can keep that momentum always going, always happening, so that it's always flowing. And then when something new comes along, you go, oh, I didn't know that they were doing that. Oh, okay, let me just see how maybe I can find that script and see how that feels and how what my interpretation is of it. To always make it a growth. Because it's such a wonderful gift to be in this business, to be able to do all of these things. You know, I have, so, you know, today, you know, along with doing this program, I did voice and workout. And I was like, okay, I think I'm killing myself. I'm not, you know, but it was, you know, it rejuvenated how I felt, because I wanted to really increase the stamina, to see how I can do those things. It's always a growth. It's always
yeah. It never, what is it? Pablo Casal said, why are you still practicing at 90? Because I'm still hoping to get it right.
Exactly. I was at an audition a Shakespeare audition one time. A woman came out who I thought was absolutely brilliant. I'd seen her work. And you know, it was only about 2 or 3 of us there. So, you know, we had talked before, and when she came out, I said, well, you know, you feeling all good? You feeling good about it? And she said, well, I've got the rest of my life to get it right. I thought, well, this diva can say that.
Yeah, but those are the ones who know. Yeah. And then there's the thing that they're saying now with my workout program: progress, not perfection.
Exactly. That's what you know, that's,
there is no perfect. I'm sure Meryl Streep has walked off certain times.
I mean, you just do. I am going to end this on air thing. I thank you for your patience.
Oh, thank you so much.
You know, this was not supposed to be all video. We were going to do an audio and then come and do, but I guess this is in the stars. We had a little problem with Blog Talk Radio, everyone. And so because we had this scheduled, thank goodness, you know, we had the webinar scheduled. You all have the benefit of seeing and hearing us talk about all of this at the same time. I've had people say to me, Lenny, why don't you do this all the time? I go, well, it's hard, you know, it's hard to archive it like this. It's archived, really, the audio is archived really well at Blog Talk, but you never know what will grow from it.
Well,
you never know.
Our whole conversation was about being ready for things.
Yes.
And going with the flow. In fact, I have a Facebook page. I haven't.
Oh, now I want to talk about this. Talk about the Facebook thing.
I just took a page out, HELENE GALEK casting, because I have my own files, but I post my postings there first before I go on Actors Access or anything. So this way people can refer their friends. And also too, if I have some respected colleagues, I will post their shows on mine. But and I'm due to do a live. I haven't done one yet in a while, but I remember during the pandemic, and I talked about the self-tapes, and believe me, I struggled. I took a while. I was taking classes. I was asking friends. I was going to SAG. How do you do these things? And I said, it's so important, because I know a lot of actors still are like, all right, you don't have to love them, but they avoided doing them. And I said, so I brought up Sunset Boulevard. And I go, that's the sadness of a Norma Desmond. She was living in the in the silence. And then when they became talkies, she never made the transition.
Yes.
And when you don't do that, then you lose out. You know,
the progression.
The film actors,
progression. Yes.
Yeah, the film actors who once TV was big.
Yes.
And that was a whole different thing.
Yes, it was. There's always going to be something that you have to, you know, I mean, from the big 78s to the 45s to the cassettes to the CDs to the downloading, you know, and uploading,
streaming to the
streaming.
It's always
I mean, it's always going to be something. And you know, you hope that you get an opportunity to experience that and experience it well, and it works for you. I mean, this has always been a medium. I love this medium. I mean, I love being able to do this.
No, it's great. And I think another thing, we'll end it. I know we got to end it, but one thing again to tell the people is too, is to have your village. Nobody does it by themselves. Whether you get into a group and classes and ask, don't be afraid to ask. I belong to a couple coaching programs on Facebook that's private. So not everybody sees it. And it's you can feel safe to go, okay, even if it's technical, like somebody said, well, I did this on my phone and it did something weird. Or somebody will go, well, I don't know. I just met someone. Do I email them here? Like any of these questions is to have your team. You know, and I'm working in a coaching program now. I need a coach. I saw the movie. Do you remember Cinderella Man? Russell Crowe was the fighter.
Yeah.
So Paul Giamatti is his coach, and he's going, I remember seeing this. Come on, you got to pull him on the right. You got to, and I went, oh, I would love to have somebody like that for my acting career going, Helene, you got to go out here, you got to go there. So I'm in a program now where I'm meeting with someone and I'm getting pushed on my comfort level and learning how to do
good. You know, I mean, you're going outside of your comfort level.
Yeah. And I know that's when you grow, but it is uncomfortable. As I said, at least when you get older, it doesn't take as long to feel uncomfortable. You get over it quicker. Let's put it. I still get neurotic. I still get uncomfortable, but it lasts for maybe a few minutes, and then I don't have patience.
And then you accept it and keep on going with it.
Because then I feel like, what do I have to lose?
Exactly.
I'm in this point of my life. What do I have to lose? You know.
Now, but you do something else on Facebook, don't you? Do a restaurant or?
Yeah. Oh my God, I can't believe you said that because I've been so behind. I just posted. It's called Helene Around Town. When I was little, I always wanted to be. I love like giving like editors and hints. I worked in the restaurant business for several years. I was a maitre d' at a celebrity restaurant. So I have fun stories with some of the celebrities I met, because as a maitre d', it's a different relationship than you know, with being a server or you know, whatever. But then I went into sales and I worked with the concierge community, and that probably helped me more with the way the acting business is now, because I have to convince the buyers what I'm selling. You know, there's a million restaurants, like there's a million actors. Why should you send your guests to me? So I really learned that. So anyway, that's why I used to, I probably not anymore as much, but I used to get invited. I used to go out. But you know too, when you rehearse for a play, we're getting back to that. You rehearse sometimes in one neighborhood and you do the show in another neighborhood, and you have to go out to eat, so you get to know places. So I have saved, I call it affordable fun. And if something's a little pricey, I'll mention it. But sometimes I find out little secrets. I just have to say this. I was so excited because unfortunately a lot of New York has become chain stores and corporate stuff, but there's still in the village, especially in the East Village, these little cute places. I went to a networking party where you saw the name of the place, but it looked like an apartment building. And I go, okay, it's not that place. That's got another name. And it's not this place, another name. So let's go up the stairs. You go up the stairs and you take and you're in one of these wooden bars with a fireplace and a room in the back where we had the networking party. And I was like, I was so excited, like, yes, these places still exist. Even though St. Mark's Place is all, you know, white lights and everything.
But it's different than it was.
So I'm going to be mentioning it. So I like to tell people I've had a good meal. I love food. You know, where it's good. You know, I always tell people, go to lunch, go to happy hour. This is good for here. This is good to take your family out. That's just something I don't get paid. I like to do that on my own.
Yes. Well, you know, I think that you have all of these projects that you're doing. I'm just fascinated by it, that, you know, you have the energy. That, you know, that you.
Well, yes. And I have to be I fight with discipline. I'm a Pisces. And so we're all over the place. But I working on a book. It's a passion project. It's for a very small audience. I just want to get it done this year. This is why I write smaller projects. I wrote another short play. I want to rework that, and I'm working on a couple essays in mine. I like doing essays about social things.
Yes. Well, you know, but I do understand that. I mean, I I like my projects. I like my projects. And that's because, probably they're projects that I don't see everywhere. And it's what I really want, what I want to do. So I have a tendency. I know what it is like when those projects, but you have, I mean, I wanted to get the Facebook in. I read about it and I went, how fascinating. Restaurants and all of this, well, now we're going to say we have combined LYNNIE Godfrey, Straight No Chaser, with the After Show Afterthoughts. So you had both of them, everyone, together, all together with this. I hope you've enjoyed the conversation with Helene. She has so much to offer. If you see her name in a casting situation, please run. Please go
to me. Yeah.
Yes, to her, not away, to her. If you go to if for the novice who is not in the business, if you go to a production and you see her name there, you see who has done the work. I think that it's important that our audiences know how much goes into the work for the productions that they do see. And it's not just, people think, oh, it's a lot of fun. You all are always having just fun. No, it's a lot of work. It's a lot.
It's always work. They have that famous poster of the ballerina but then they show the feet. And the feet are all, banded, bunioned, and the toe shoes are wrecked. And
exactly. If you ever knew, but we embrace the work. Yes, embrace it so that you can have the joy that you have. So I ended with that. And
thank you. Oh, thank you so much, LYNNIE. You're just, to me, you're a goddess. And
oh gosh,
it's such an honor to be in your presence.
Oh, thank you. No, you are just it's just been wonderful. I want you to stay on. We're going to say goodbye to them, but I do want you to stay on. Sure. And I just want to say thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Next week, believe it or not, we're going to talk with educators. People who have only taught school, not taught it and done something else. These are women and men who that's what they wanted to do from the very beginning. I thought that that's what I wanted to do. And then show business bit me and took me away, but all of my friends all the way through my first year of college were all educated, educators training to be educated. So I still have some of them that are going to be on the program next week.
That's
so do tune in, and see that. But, it will still going to be at the same time, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time next Wednesday on the 25th. But thank you for being here with my Helene GALEK.
GALEK.
Go
get it. Punch it.
GALEK.
Yes, there you go.
And know that all of the things that she does are probably accented with a whole lot of love and sensitivity from going from one thing to the other. So when you see the name, and if she's there, wave and say hello.
I'll say
Yes. All right. Well, thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you on the radio, I hope. If not, I'll see you on the video here. LYNNIE Godfrey, Straight No Chaser. See ya. Bye-bye.